Ladies and gentlemen, the best two words in American team sports. Game 7. Your LA Clippers got the job done. The Stars came to play. Adjustments were made. Going to be talking about it all in today's Locked On Playoff Game 7 Clippers.
You are Locked On Clippers, your daily Los Angeles Clippers podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Yes, sir. You were locking in with the Clips. There goes my voice. My name is Darian Vaziri, your host of Locked On Clippers. I've been a Clipper fan for 20 years, been covering the Clippers for 5 years on my own personal YouTube channel, Dime Dropper, in 3 years right here on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube for all things LA Clippers. And what an episode we've got tonight as the LA Clippers force a Game 7. Apologies for the inside voice. It is late at night, back from the Intuit Dome. And oh my God, what a game. Going to be talking about the fact that the Stars showed up, the Batum Battalion assembled, and the rotation changed up. But before we do that, this episode is brought to you by Monarch Money. Yes, Monarch Money. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONNBA at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. Clipper Nation. Clipper Nation, Clipper Nation. We've got a Game 7. It's not ideal on the road in Denver, but we live to see another day. I did an episode this morning talking about the Stars. The NBA playoffs is a Stars game. Basketball is a player sport. No matter what you want to say about the staff, coaching staff, Ty Lue, it was all going to come down to our guys. And tonight, our guys performed. Kawhi Leonard was aggressive. James Harden was night and day, answering all the critics in a big game. And Norman Powell, after many people, including myself, suggested, I didn't say he was, did I? I have to go back and see if I said I would take him out of the starting lineup. I think I might have said that, so shame on me. That is why I am not the coach, and I claim that I do not know more than Ty Lue and our amazing staff. Norman Powell, what a big performance he had tonight at Intuit Dome, and that atmosphere was awesome. Again, section to my right wasn't great, but the swell was popping, and even the sections in the middle, that usually I always criticize, like on TV in the middle areas, the main, were really lively, it looked like. So there was some dead portions, late first quarter, early second, but other than that, second half, absolutely electric. And, I'm just really appreciating the environment in there. And, Casey's been able to get me in that first row. So it's been amazing in the wall and the swell. But it's been a great place to have a front row seat or a very close-up seat to James Harden and Kawhi Leonard having a big playoff game. Same with Norman Powell and the defense of Ivica Zubac. I mean, where do I even begin? Believe it or not, even with all the adrenaline on every timeout of these games that I attend, I make sure I'm writing notes for the pod. And one of the first adjustments I noticed was that we had Kawhi Leonard to start the game guarding Jamal Murray and Chris Dunn on Christian Brown. Didn't really make much of a difference because throughout the game, we threw different guys on Murray, whether it be Dunn, Nico, that Kawhi guarding him as the primary defender didn't last too long. Derrick Jones Jr., you know what I mean? We threw a number of guys at Murray. And, the Nuggets, for the most part, in terms of their matchups, they kept it all the same. Jokic was still hedging on those James Harden ball screens. And that's where we get into James Harden and what he was doing out there. He understood that they're throwing two on the ball, and while he still made some really solid reads and got us those 4-on-3 situations with the initial pass, he realized, look, I got to attack guys in isolation. I got to put guards in the action. I got to go at Christian Brown. I got to put Murray in the action. And they were forcing him right. They were running him off the line, but he got to the paint. He got to his floater. He took more threes. He was getting downhill in transition. His mindset was completely different. His approach to the game. And granted, he made adjustments. He realized that, look, they're going to be throwing two on the ball. whenever I put Jokic in the action. So maybe sometimes I shouldn't put Jokic in the action. Let me just get to my bag work. And 47 minutes. I mean, the dude gave it his all. For me, again, 4 really solid games in this series for Harden. 4 good games, I'd say, and 2 bad ones. For me, it was the opposite last year. 2 really good games and 4 not so great games. And in game 3, I think he shot well in some of them, but I don't think he played well in those other ones. It's just he played better than Paul George. This playoffs, and I've said it multiple times, I think he's been great. But you know what's funny is no one's going to care if he performs badly in game 7, which is the sad part, because he's already guaranteed for me, and just my criterion. Again, you can get subjective about if he played well in game 3, maybe. I don't think so, though. I mean, we don't win that game the way we do without James Harden. It's just a fact. But he's already guaranteed that he's played well for the majority of this series. But that game 7 is going to be huge. Forget game 7 for now. As far as this game, getting downhill, he had 28 points to lead everyone in the game. You can argue he was the player of the game. Several candidates for that, by the way. 6 rebounds, 8 assists, which was a team high, of course. 2 steals, 1 block. He did, however, turn the ball over 4 times, but it ended up being somewhat irrelevant because as a team, we only turned the ball over 7 times. And when you have under 10 turnovers, you are in for success. That's been one of the themes of this series is who can take care of the ball. Whichever team takes care of the ball better will be more successful. In almost every single game that has held true, and we were able to further that narrative with this low turnover game. James Harden, though, 50% shooting in this one. 10 for 20. You know what I love about that? The 20 shots. He got to it, you know what I'm saying? And it was only late in the game, fourth quarter, where not even me, but actually fans to my left and in front of me were saying, James, pass the ball, James, pass the ball. It was a lot of dribbling and a lot of wasting time. I had Kawhi Leonard right in front of me in the corner one time, holding on the ball for a minute as well in that stretch. And I think the possession ended up resulting in either a Powell 3 or a Bogdanovic 3. There was one possession that was such bad process, and Bogdanovic made a huge 3. But overall, even though we were down by 3 after the first quarter and only up by 1 at halftime, it was that third quarter where I felt like, when we were able to keep Jokic at bay and start to force misses, and Jokic wasn't great, but I am going to be very objective here. While in the first half, it felt like, again, the calls weren't great for us. In the second half, we were able to be very physical with Jokic, and they were not giving him anything. I think Jokic needs to stop complaining, though, but I'm a little afraid that because he got a tough whistle in this game, and again, I'm only watching in person. I haven't seen the replays, so you get a different perspective. So Clipper fans, if you think I'm going easy on Jokic by saying that, let me know. But from my vantage point, it was pretty aggressive. It's the same stuff that I always complain about with Zoo not getting calls. We were getting really physical with him, especially when we went to smaller guys guarding him. And I feel like the refs sometimes give him that leverage or that leniency because they're smaller and they have to get more physical. But Jokic, the fact that he's just kind of like buying into it and kind of looking for the foul, that's not helping his case, in my opinion, especially on the road. And plus, and look, hey, this series, we haven't had games that went our way in terms of the calls, in my opinion. So, first time for everything. Nuggets have already had a couple. But you know what? At the end of the day, this series deserves to be going 7. It's been an absolute barn burner. James Harden, as I said, just fantastic. 3 for 8 from 3 in this game. 5 for 5 from the line. Making all the right plays, in my opinion. And then Kawhi Leonard. I talked about let's get a damn game when you shoot 20-plus shots. Well, he delivered. 11 for 22 from the field. So both our stars shot 50% on 20-plus shots. I mean, sometimes, you don't even need to big brain the analysis. Your stars just got to play better. And when you want to get specific, yes, I mean, I talked about working quicker off the catch. I talked about, going away from the double team. And while it still is more methodical than certain other guys, Kawhi Leonard, he was doing some of those things I was saying. Turning away from the double team. There was one turnaround where the double was coming. He spun baseline for it. He just looked to get busy quicker off the catch. And it was awesome to see the aggression where he looked like he was going to try to score almost every time he got the ball. And we did a good job being deliberate with trying to get Murray in the action. So this was the most, oh my God, we have playoff Kawhi game with a full sold out crowd that I've experienced as a Clipper fan, because the only candidates are this series. In game 4, I don't think he played well. Game 3, he was solid, but this, 27 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists, and just 1 turnover. The only thing that wasn't great for him was his 3-ball. He was 2 for 8 from 3. 3 for 4 from the foul line. So again, not loving this whole 75% thing. Happy for Harden to go 100%. But Kawhi brought it when we needed it most, which is huge. We're just going to need it one more time. And then last but not least, Norman Powell. He got his number tonight, 24. And I thought it was awesome to see how aggressive he was attacking closeouts and trying to get into the lane and being like, look, Jokic cannot protect the rim. I can get my floater a clean look anytime if I just get the step on the guy that's closing out. And he did a very good job of that. Very aggressive. That dunk he had after the Zoo block, that was electric. Captured that in my vlog, thankfully. 24 points for Norm, 3 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 steals, 1 turnover on 60% shooting. 9 for 15, 2 for 6 from 3, and 4 for 4 from the line. Norman Powell silences the critics with a huge performance in front of the Intuit Dome crowd. Thank you, Norman Powell. You deserve it, brother. And then last but not least, Zubac. Well, it looked like he was getting kind of torched in the first half. Second half, he was physical. We went too long without putting him back in the game for a second, and the Nuggets got back in it. But he was doing such a good job on Jokic. My Twitter timeline was littered with compliments to Zoo from fans around the league about how good of a job he's doing on Jokic. And yeah, he's getting physical, but he can match his physicality. He can match his strength. And I'm not saying he can guard Jokic, but he damn sure made life tough for him and blocked him twice in one half. Jokic finished with 25 points, 7 rebounds, 8 assists, 4 turnovers on 11 for 22 shooting and 2 for 4 from 3. It's amazing what we consider not great nights for Jokic. But the Clippers win it 111-105 on the backs of their 4 best players. Ivica Zubac finished with 10 points, 6 rebounds, which is a fairly pedestrian stat line for him. But he did have a steal and 3 blocks and just 1 turnover on 5 for 6 shooting. The Nuggets made a little push at the end, but overall we were able to be in command after a 32-22 third quarter. Coming up, though, going to be talking about Nicholas Batum and the impact that he made to change this game. I got to tell you a little something about Monarch money. Ever check your bank account and wonder, where did all my money go? Between dining out, online shopping, and entertainment, it's easy to lose track. That's where Monarch Money comes in. Your personal CFO giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money isn't just a budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center. You can track all your accounts, investments, and spending in one place, so you stop just managing your money and start building wealth. Managing money with your partner is smoother than ever. You can track shared and personal accounts, set goals, and stay on the same page without the stress. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONNBA at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONNBA for half off your first year. So the Clippers winning it 111-105 at Intuit Dome. Hopefully not the last game at Intuit Dome. And they won partially because of the incredible play of Nicholas Batum. One of the big adjustments that Ty Lue made on Thursday night was he went away from Chris Dunn much quicker. The 3 balls weren't falling. Our role players were, to me, the only reason why at halftime we weren't up by more. Derek Jones, Chris Dunn, these guys were all missing their open threes. Just needed some open threes to fall. And the small ball was working pretty decently. And what did I say about Ben Simmons? It's almost like they listen to this show. I can't believe it sometimes. I said he shouldn't be playing, do or die, and they didn't play him. We only went 8 deep. And it was a lot of small ball with Nico, Derek Jones, Kawhi, which I said we should go to. And we were able to create a lot of good shots. They just were not falling. But in the third quarter, we started with Nico instead of Chris Dunn. And it just gave us that spacing that we needed. Kawhi talked about it after the game. Gave us the spacing we needed, and he was also able to be just such a great help defender. His length and size, whether it be the small ball lineup that was doing pretty well without Zoo in this game because of Nico, getting under the skin of Jokic. And I was seeing some amazing tweets about Nico tonight from everyone. It's just people are really starting to see what kind of career this guy has had, the connector that he is, the high IQ player, and the two-way player. Knocking down open threes, making the extra pass, being a great help defender, being a great shot contester. I mean, it feels like guys just don't make shots over him. The blocks, the high effort. Batum Battalion assemble. I mean, what else can I say? I mean, I was wearing his jersey tonight. It seems like it's good luck. I look-y got to keep rocking it. I think I wore in game 2. I don't know if anyone's keeping track. I wore Zubac's in game 1. And I wore Nico's in game 3. Okay. Game 4, I wore a red jersey. Lamar Odom. So low-key, I got to go with the Nico. I got to keep going with the Nico. Damn, have I worn a Nico jersey for all 3 wins? Because if that's the case, I got to keep it going. Nico Batum, baby. What an incredible impact he made. Huge threes in the second half. And as I said, help defense, defending Jokic, defending Murray. I mean, the versatility of this guy and the high IQ of this guy. I'm just so thankful that he's back. And we kept saying it. Adam Osland kept saying it. I kept saying it. It felt like we were just criminally underusing this guy all year when he's just not that old, not that washed. We saw the guy in the Olympics getting heavy minutes. It's like we were just saving him for the playoffs, load managing Nico. I mean, this stat line will never tell you how great he played, but it's still pretty good. 6 points, 5 boards, 6 dimes, 2 steals, 3 blocks, no turnovers, 2 for 5 from the field, and all his shots were threes. That doesn't go to show you the shot contests, the extra pass to get it, the ball moving. That doesn't get an assist. That he doesn't get an assist for. God bless Nico Batum. I mean, what else can I say? I mean, the guy is just an absolute constellation. He's the best. He's the greatest. And I've been saying this for a while, but someone tweeted it tonight. I forget who it was. He was saying, he said Nico Batum is the Al Horford of the West. But I think Nico Batum, I guess because Al Horford's always been in the East, and Nico Batum has been in the West for most of his career. Of course, he had some years with Charlotte and then Philly last year, but he just is one of those guys where I never like saying this, right? The words I'm about to say. He deserves a ring. I don't like saying that, especially about star players, because I feel like if you're a star player and you are in a position to win a ring, you got to go get it. Harden, Chris Paul, Westbrook. It's not like they've had infinite chances, but I think they've had some chances, and could have done better with them. But role players like Al Horford and Nico Batum, it's just like I feel like they do all the. Well, okay, that's a little disrespectful to Al Horford. He's been an all-star, but the point is, they just do all the right things. They seem like such good teammates. From the way everybody talks about them, they're just such, for me, winning basketball players. They play hard on both ends. They're really high IQ. They're good passers. They can make open shots. They play with heart. I think, and Al Horford got his ring. I'm not saying it's going to happen for Nico this year, but I just feel like this guy deserves it. He's just so awesome. And you know who he credits for reviving his career? Ty Lue. So coming up, we're going to talk about the adjustments that were made and the coaching staff's performance in this ballgame. All right. So the LA Clippers winning Game 6, 111-105 at the Intuit Dome. Outscored in the first quarter 28-25, mainly for me just because shots weren't falling. Jamal Murray was hitting some shots early. Really tough shots early. But we were able to be aggressive ourselves. Kawhi, James Harden. Second quarter outscored the Nuggets 33-29. A lot of James Harden getting downhill, some small ball working. All we needed was just some open threes to fall. Then the third quarter, 32-22, we outscored them, which was obviously the biggest difference in the game. Starting the quarter with Nico Batum, as I mentioned. Kawhi continued to be super aggressive, multiple dunks in this game. Harden being aggressive one-on-one. And then finally, Derrick Jones Jr. was able to make some threes. And again, you combine that with the aggression of a Norman Powell. And when the ball's swinging, when you get two on the ball with Harden in the pick and roll, and you get the ball to Zubac in that 4-on-3, and the ball's moving around the perimeter and Norman Powell gets it, he was just attacking the closeout a lot of times. He took 2 bad shots in the first quarter from 3, but after that, he was so aggressive, and I love to see it. And then, of course, Zubac's amazing job on Joker and the help defense of everyone. Only thing I'll say is we got a little stagnant in the fourth quarter. It just felt like we were trying to kill clock, not trying to really execute. Harden and Kawhi just dribbling around and everyone's standing there. But we were able to survive, even though we got outscored 26-21 in the fourth. But just a fantastic effort from the guys. And I talked about the defense. That was the first thing they needed to improve. And I could see from the very first quarter that our attention to detail and our off-ball defense was so much better. Night and day. We were seeing man, we were seeing ball, we were staying attached to cutters off of Jokic in the high post. We were switching the off-ball actions when we needed to switch them, and we knew it, and we were crisp on them. And it was awesome just to see us be us on defense. So credit to everybody. And you look at the rotation. Chris Dunn only played 10 minutes. He had 2 points, 2 dimes, no turnovers, on 1 for 4 shooting, and was 0 for 3 from deep. And again, people are going to hate and say it was an obvious move, but Ty Lue didn't mess around tonight or on Thursday night. He went away from Chris Dunn right away. He didn't get it a chance to get worse. He went with Nico playing 34 minutes and was rewarded with Nico being a plus 11 in his minutes. Expect more in Game 7. Will he start in Game 7? I wouldn't be surprised. Nikola Jokic called him out, said I expect him to start Nicholas Batum in Game 7. He's a better shooter than Chris Dunn. Love Chris Dunn, though. Just absolutely love the guy. And I still think he should play in Game 7, but not too much, depending on how his shot is going. I could see him, making some shots, and then we get the amazing Chris Dunn on defense, and we don't need to sit him. But I would really lean into the big 4 plus Nico to end the game. I really would. Nico, and shout out Blue Bucks. Why the F Batum in? I don't know. I might have to go with him over anyone else to close the game because I love Derrick Jones Jr., but his shooting still doesn't convince me, by the way, the minutes distribution in this game as well with Zubac in the first quarter was very different. So Zoo, instead of exiting the game halfway through the first, he played, from my memory, the entire first quarter. I'm just double checking right now. But yes, he played the entire first quarter because he was matching Nikola Jokic's minutes. So Zoo came out to start the second quarter when Jokic came out. But we didn't put Zubac back in when Jokic came in. Jokic came in at the 9:02 mark of the second quarter. So they only rested him for 3 minutes. Whereas Zoo, we didn't put him back in till 5 minutes and 14 seconds of that second quarter. So he got 7 minutes of rest. And I'm hoping that even though that's a lot of rest, and he did the same thing in the second half. But mind you, we were up by 7 when Zubac came in. So we were playing well, actually, with him out. Because we were down by 3 going into the second quarter after he had played the whole thing. But we were up by 7, 43-36. 46-39 when Zubac came back in. So we did a good job in that small ball lineup of actually creating some separation. And then in the third quarter, similar deal. Ivica Zubac playing the entire third and then sitting out to start the fourth. But again, Jokic comes back in at the 8 minute and 36 second mark of the fourth. We're up by 11. Zubac doesn't come back in till 4 minutes and 12 seconds. So we got 8 minutes of rest. Granted, we were still up by 9, but we were up by as many as 14, 85-99. So, we were up by 15 actually at one point. So, it got a little too close for comfort. They got it down 6 points. but or 5 points, 105 to 110. But how about that huge three by Norman Powell to make it 110 to 101? That was one of the biggest shots of the game. But overall, I wanted to say this about Ty Lue. He pushed the right buttons. Nico playing extended minutes. I know it's not rocket science, but he did it. The Zubac minutes, the different pattern with the substitution, matching him with Jokic a lot more. Again, I expect, and maybe there's a little bit of an added rest to Zoo with only 1 day off. We'll give him that extra gear in Game 7. But there was one other one. Ben Simmons not playing, shortened the rotation, and they came through for him. So both teams went 8 deep, but the Nuggets honestly only went really 7 deep because Jalen Pickett didn't play, and DJ only played 3 minutes and had a donut and 1 rebound and a turnover. So quickly got him out of there. So I think they're only going to lean into really those 6 guys. Their starters and Russ in Game 7. Peyton Watson played 11 minutes, and he had 7 points, 2 rebounds, 1 block, no turnovers on 3 for 5 shooting, and he made his only 3. So if Peyton Watson shoots 60, 100 splits in Game 7, I will be baffled. So I don't expect that. Westbrook continues to shoot super well from 3. I feel like we're bound to see a stinker in Game 7 from 3, but that doesn't mean he's going to play badly. Westbrook might make plays like Game 1 where he just makes a huge play to win the game. So we got to be very careful about that. He had 14 points, 10 rebounds, 6 assists, and just 2 turnovers on 5 for 10 shooting, 2 for 4 from 3, and 2 for 3 from the foul line. I think that sounds great, but the misses that he had, the open dunk, the layups, and as Clipper fans, we know, honestly, every basketball fan in LA knows Westbrook layups at this stage of his career are an experience. He goes very fast. He doesn't use his left hand. His fingers are all jacked up from over the years, and he doesn't elevate the same way he once did. That he used to just punch stuff down. Some of those misses were crucial, including the one that led to the Norman Powell 3. Those are momentum changers. They don't show up in this, you can't really tell that, because he shot 50% and all that. But those are huge misses, the nature of them, fast break layup. But overall, I think Westbrook's had a pretty good series. He has. As far as the Clippers 8-man rotation. Oh yeah, I should just finish out with saying some of the Nuggets guys. Christian Brown had 14 points on 5 for 7 shooting and 2 for 4 from 3. These guys shot 52, 41, 67 splits. So that's not great, but 52% from the field and 41 from 3, and we still won. I'm telling you, we're the better team. But are we? It's very rare that the better team loses in the 7-game series in the NBA. But I'll tell you what, those rare times where they do lose, like 2015 Clippers against the Rockets, they lose in 7. I just hope this is not one of them, but we'll see. So Christian Brown shot really well again. Is he bound for, I want to look at his game log right now because I feel like when has he shot poorly in this series? Game 2. Game 2, he was the only game where he shot under 40% from the field. And it's also the only game, the only game where he shot under 40% from the field was Game 2. He shot 50% from 3 this game, 50 from 3 last game. But yeah, actually, no, he hasn't shot really well from 3 the first couple games. So, I don't know. Maybe I'm tripping. He might have a great Game 7, honestly. Michael Porter Jr. had only 5 points, so we really took him out of it. Expect him to try to come back with something. In Game 7, he was 2 for 5 from the field and 1 for 2 from 3. Aaron Gordon, boo, continues to have a very good series. 19 points in this game on 9 for 16 shooting. 1 for 6 from 3, though, so I know he shot well from 3 in the regular season, but we'll see. I feel like we're going to give him some shots in Game 7 for sure. And then Murray and Jokic. Jokic played 42 minutes and Murray played 44. Murray had 21, 8, and 8 on 9 for 19 shooting and 2 for 6 from 3. Can Jamal Murray have a stinker? Like the second half of Game 7 last year? We just ran out of gas with good defense? And I already mentioned Jokic's stat line. But as for us, Bogdanovic. 6 points, 3 boards, 1 steal. You know what I loved about Bogey? 2 offensive rebounds, the fight he's showing, that personality he has. He was 2 for 6 from the field and 1 for 3 from deep and 1 for 2 from the free throw line. I don't know why, but I have a feeling Bogey could come up with something huge in Game 7. Derrick Jones Jr., 8 points, 2 boards, 1 assist, 1 steal, 2 blocks, no turnovers on 3 for 8 shooting and 2 for 6 from 3. The guy is a high flyer. The stuff he does in the short roll sometimes, where he's able to just go elevate, and the hang time he has is amazing. And having him in those small ball lineups, able to cover ground, able to help recover. I mean, he just shoots the gap and covers ground so quickly. It's just awesome to have out there. 18 minutes of some good, hard-nosed two-way ball by Derrick Jones Jr. Already talked about Nico and Chris Dunn and Norman Powell and all the rest of them. So you get 24-plus points from your 3 best players. That is a recipe for success. Game 7 is going to be a whole different can of worms. A Game 7 on the road. See, for me, this is just one of my basketball principles, convictions, you can say. When you put yourself in a situation where you got to win a Game 7 on the road, don't be mad that you lost the series in Game 7. You put yourself in a situation where you have one game at someone's house, crowd going absolutely berserk to win a series. It's not ideal. The percentage of teams that win a Game 7 on the road is, I believe, less than 30%. We saw this very Nuggets team, though, lose it at home last year to Minnesota. I know that stung for them. So they may come up. Here's my point. I think we can do it. I think we can do it. I think we're the better team. But if you ask me, and this is why I said Clips in 6, before the series, one game in the altitude against the best player in the world in Jamal Murray to get through the series, I would not have taken that. I would say that's not ideal. But the Clipper way is never an easy way. And this is the position that we left ourselves in. So I will be breaking it down on Friday, a little preview, and then that's it, ladies and gentlemen. The best 2 words in American team sports. I just want to say, though, for anyone that was wondering, an update on are you still able to film interviews in the plaza, whatever? Yes. The rule was that if you have a professional camera, you can't film interviews without a pass. I mean, of course, I'm using my phone, so not a big deal. Shout out to the Wall. Shout out to the Swell. Shout out to Kawhi, Harden, Norm, this coaching staff, Nicholas Batum. We got one more game to play. And it's only fitting that this best series, I talked about, this was the best series of the first round. Shame on you, NBA, for putting it on NBA TV. Was the best series. And it would go 7 games. It's been epic, Denver fans. I have a great deal of respect for this Nuggets team, for Jokic, even though he's getting a little too complainy for me. Now, of course, I know that sounds hypocritical. Harden complains a lot, but I acknowledge that, and I get a lot of bad mouth comments and haters, and all the people that hate on me in the comments are all Harden or Kawhi fans. So Nuggets fans, much respect. Clipper Nation, let's keep it up. One more game. Watch party on Saturday at Intuit. Let's pack that place out. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at DimeDropperPod, where a vlog of the game and fans' post-game thoughts will be out, probably in separate videos. Amazing atmosphere. And, of course, Locked On Clippers. Let's get us to 8,000 subscribers, baby. Subscribe and hit the notification bell. We got one more game to play. The best 2 words in American team sports. Game 7. The age-old proverb continues. Go Clips. We'll talk Friday.